Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is finally time to get things off right with the first race of the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series, the first ever points-paying race here at the inaugural Daytona 500. Now, we saw a phenomenal race at South Boston Speedway for the Busch Light Clash. Amazing racing within the final 15 laps to close out that race. But now the main kicker is about to begin as we are here at Daytona International Speedway for the Daytona 500. The first race out of 15 that we're going to be having this season. And as you can see right now, the drivers are already on the track getting ready to go for 40 laps here at this long 2.5 mile length track across Daytona Beach, Florida. Now, let's take a look at your starting lineup here for the Daytona 500. And no surprise to many, 6 times before he done it in real life, now he's gonna do it here. Alex Bowman has won the pole here today for the Daytona 500. Along beside him on the outside front row is gonna be Justin Haley and the 7. And remember, both of these guys didn't make the Busch Light Clash, so this will be their very first race in the series. Then right behind them, Kyle Larson starting third and his teammate Chase Elliott alongside of him. They both round out row number 2. And in row 3, starting 6, Josh Berry in the 4 for Haas Factory team. Another driver that actually didn't make the Busch Light Clash, so he'll make his first appearance here today. And Austin Dillon rounding out row number 3 on the outside. And how about this? Jimmy Johnson in the number 84, who will make selected starts here in this season, will start 7th here today. In row number 4, and a light beside him, IOL Daytona 500 champion William Byron at number 24. And at least this week, you don't have to worry about figuring out which one is Gratson and which one is Priest, because Noah Gratson will be driving the number 10 Bass Pro Shops Ford, and Ty Gibbs starting right beside him in the number 54 Interstate Batteries Toyota. Then right beside him is Tyler Reddick driving the number 45 in the McDonald's Toyota, one of them on the field, and then Chase Briscoe in the 14 on the outside. In 13th of row 7 is Todd Dillon in number 38 in the Georgia Peanuts Ford. And here's your weekly Harrison Burton weekly update. He's starting 14th right side him. 15th in row 8 is AJ Allmendinger in the number 16 for College Racing, who will race full-time this year. And one of the part-timers, Riley Herbst, in the number 36 alongside of him. Row 9 has Joey Logano in the number 22 Pennzoil Ford for Team Penske, and right beside him is the number 41 Autodesk Ford of Ryan Priest for Haas Factory team. Rounding out the top 20 is Daniel Suarez in the number 99 Freeway Insurance Chevrolet, and right beside him, Brad Keselowski in number 16 Hawaiian Ford. Starting 21st in row 11 is where we're going to see our Busch Light Clash winner, Carson Hocevar in the number 77 Gamebridge Chevrolet, and for Front Row Motorsports, Michael McDowell in the number 34 on the outside of him. Then there's Cody Ware in the number 54 in row 12, and then there's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. right beside him on the outside. And how about Christopher Bell, pretty deep in the field, starting 25th in row 13, and on the outside of him, everybody's favorite, Sam Mayer in the number 62 for Beard Motorsports. Then there's Austin Hill in the number 33, who will also make selected starts in the FASTENAL Cup Series, and Austin Cinders right alongside of him in row number 14. Row 15, in the 29th starting position, Chris Buescher in the number 17 for RFK Racing, and on the outside is the other College Racing teammate, Daniel Hemrick in the number 31. Big Joe Gibbs Racing guys, Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. both starting in row 16, pretty deep in the field. They did not have good qualifying efforts, so they hope to try to get at least up to the front near the end. And starting 33rd in row 17, Aaron Jones in the 43 for Legacy Motor Club, and right beside him, Anthony Alfredo in number 50, Annie's Frozen Custard, another one that will make selected starts in the series. Row 18, 35th and 36th, we see Ross Chastain and Ryan Blaney, more big-namers pretty deep in the field who did not have good qualifying runs, including Bubba Wallace, who's on the outside of row 19, starting in the 37th position. And on the outside of row 19, of course, we see Shane Van Gisbergen pretty deep in the field because this is not a road course track. And rounding out the field in the final row in row 20, we see Jonathan Nemechek in the 42. And how about this? Kyle Busch, who won the pole for the Busch Light Clash, is going to start last here at the Daytona 500. And of course, we talked about the heartbreak that Kyle Busch had 2 weeks ago at South Boston in the Busch Light Clash, where he was leading with around 11 laps to go, but unfortunately was caught up with lap traffic, which caused the remainder of the field to catch up to Kyle, and unfortunately, the win slipped away from Kyle Busch's fingers. But now it is finally time to get things started here at Daytona 500. Let's go ahead and fire engines here at Daytona.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The energy has definitely picked up here at Daytona International Speedway. A great command here to kick things off here as the cars are now rolling with the pace car finally letting off as we finally are about to get ready to start the first points paying race here for the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series. And just like the Busch Light Clash, we are not going to have any pace laps. So as soon as they hit turns number 4, the pace car is going to hit directly to pit road. And this is what's going to happen every race here at the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series. For all 15 races, we are not going to have any pace laps before the start of this race. So, as they come down to turns number 4 and towards the front stretch, we are about to start the inaugural NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series season here at the Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway. The crowd is on their feet, the green flag is waving, and we are finally racing here at Daytona. Justin Haley gets the slight advantage over Alex Bowman earlier on, but they are still side by side right now as the field hasn't broken away yet. The top 10 slightly pulled away for the remainder of the field, but the field is still pretty stacked up with one another as they head down the backstretch. Great addition here for these races, the helicopter cam. We are going to be using these more often now. Great camera work from our camera guys up there in the helicopter. And it almost looks like to me that they're trying to chase down Jason Momoa and Vin Diesel if they're flying helicopters that fast. Meanwhile, as they come towards the front stretch, we are going to be concluding the first lap here today, and Alex Bowman will lead the first lap of the Daytona 500, as the field is still pretty stacked up. Front pack kind of broken away from mid pack right now as the leaders are still side by side right now between Alex Bowman and Justin Haley. Onboard shot right now with Alex Bowman as his teammate Kyle Larson right behind him right now currently. Top 6 rows still pretty even right now. They're still nose to tail, but the mid pack is slightly catching up to the front, but they still got a lot of time. It's still very early on. And yeah, there's Kyle Busch right there. Thanks, Fox. I've already written up my camera crew once after that mishap for the Busch Light Clash. I also told them that I gave them the baseball rule regarding about the camera work. So 2 more strikes, and they're out. It's still pretty dead even between the first 6 rows of cars. Further on back, though, is a little bit scrambled up as we do see a little bit of 3-wide action currently. And it's AJ Allmendinger, Harrison Burton, and Todd Gilliland that were the ones that's currently 3-wide right now. So far, it's still pretty clean racing right now as the leaders are still currently side by side right now because the first 6 rows of cars have still not broken away yet as they are still pretty dead even, nose to tail. Looks like the inside lane is gaining a little bit of a run, but not enough for at least Alex Bowman to try to get fully ahead of Justin Haley as they are still side by side right now. As we are about to complete the 3rd lap, looks like Justin Haley's going to lead that lap, and he does. Justin Haley has officially led that lap. As you see, the inside lane is fading out a little bit as Noah Gragson right now pulled back a little bit. But Alex Bowman is getting a little bit of a push right now. He is ahead of Justin Haley, so he can go back in front of him if he wants to. But he doesn't look like he's going to. He's going to stay in his lane. So Alex Bowman is going to stay in the inside lane. Now Justin Haley, the outside row is getting a little bit of a push right now. This is helping Justin Haley a little bit because the field is still not broken away. But it seems like some of the drivers from the mid-pack is catching up to this field. Now, most of the drivers is able to get back up here into this pack right now. So this is really going to help out some of the drivers later on in this race. Oh, we got trouble! Looks like to me that was the 21 of Harrison Burton that slid around. Yes, it is. Harrison Burton goes for a spin.
Right
Coming into turn number 1, I saw another car involved. I believe that was the 22 of Joey Logano. But I do believe that he was able to keep it going, and now he's still running right now. There he is right there. Pretty deep in the pack now. He did lose a ton of positions after that. So now he's pretty mid-pack in the field right now. Looks like Joey Logano is going to fall to 16th. And now let's take a little bit of habit for this to all unfold. Looks like Harrison Burton tried to get into the inside lane, had no idea that Joey Logano was there. But we could clearly see that Harrison Burton cannot indeed turn left like what we usually see. And there is your weekly Harrison Burton update. Back out front now, some of the field has kind of broken away in the top right now, but you see Noah Gragson currently right now, 3 wide currently right now, but does not have the run currently right now. Alex Bowman is getting a push from his teammate Kyle Larson to try to get in front of Justin Haley, but Justin Haley is still right there as the leaders are still side by side right now. But it looks like the top 6 are pretty much bunched together right now. I think that was Jimmy Johnson right there, the 4th car on the outside. Now, folks, I do want to talk about something regarding about the Busch Light Clash that we've had 2 weeks ago. I didn't even realize about that 40 laps was actually going to be very, very short for a Busch Light Clash. Well, obviously, it was a pretty short track, and obviously, I didn't even think first. I should have at least went for at least 80 laps so far. I just thought that 40 was actually a pretty decent race until I looked back, and it was actually a lot more shorter than what it actually was. So I do want to apologize in advance because I didn't even realize about how short that race actually was. But seems like you guys seem to have really enjoyed it still, and I'm glad you guys did. And as we see a little bit of action right now, Justin Haley kind of pulls away a little bit as the outside is kind of fading away right now. That's going to help Alex Bowman in the inside lane currently, as still right now pretty dead even right now. And never mind. Looks like the outside line was able to get that run back. Well, we can pretty much say that one pad definitely pulled away from the other pad, but at the moment right now, let's take a look at the other pad currently right here and take a look at this action right now. There is a little bit of 3 wide action currently in this pad right now, and this field is currently being led by Austin Hill, who is in that number 33 Richard Childress car, and he is making selected starts here in the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series, so he is not on the full-time schedule, and he will not be eligible to be racing here in the championship. But he will still make selected starts here, and he is expecting to make every single draft-themed package track. For example, he is racing here at Daytona right now currently, and he's expecting to race at Atlanta and Talladega as well. So be on the lookout for him to be on those tracks, because we know how good he is IRL, especially in the Xfinity Series. So wouldn't be surprised if Austin Hill somehow makes a surprise appearance. But right now, this pack you're currently seeing is exiting turn number 1, and this pack right now it's exiting turn number 2. So these 2 packs aren't really that far away from each other. I mean, like, it may seem like a pretty huge gap, but it's still very early on in this race, and who knows, maybe later on in this field, that pack can slightly catch back up, because we could actually see pit stops taking place, but we don't know if that will actually happen. Even though this race is 40 laps, it's still a lot more longer than what the Busch Light Clash was. It was only around 15 minutes, and this one obviously is going to be a whole lot longer now, as there's a lot more longer distance than the Busch Light Clash. So we could see everybody taking pit stops later on in this race, as it is just the 11th lap, but 40 laps of racing. So these guys can at least pit once or maybe twice. It just depends about, if we don't get any cautions, these guys can at least pit once. But if we end up seeing some incidents here and the caution does come out, these guys can pit at least multiple times. As you can see, there's still 3 wide on the 4th row. But the Busch Light Clash, though, however, went caution-free, and since the race was also short, nobody even decided to pit. So it was a pitless and cautionless race pretty much at South Boston. It was nothing but exciting racing, and that's what we're seeing right now, as they were 3 wide for a little bit there, but now it seems to have broken away just a little bit. Now, both the inside and the outside is a little bit broken up, because not all the cars are nose to tail currently, as you see a little bit of gap right there. You see Austin Dillon right now, Noah Gragson kind of pulled away, but somehow, unrealistically, the top 6 is still bunched up nose to tail right now. But look right here. Let's talk about Jimmy Johnson for a second. We obviously knew coming into the first race, we know for sure that Jimmy Johnson was going to make at least selected starts here in this series, including the Daytona 500. But who would have thought that we would see Jimmy Johnson qualify in the 7th place position? Obviously, IRL, he had a very big moment by getting a top 3 at this year's Daytona 500 IRL back in February, and that was a huge moment for Jimmy Johnson. Because, of course, we knew how abysmal he was in 2023 and especially in 2024. So that top 5 for Jimmy Johnson was huge, IOL. But of course, it is very, very cool to see Jimmy Johnson currently running in the 7th place position here in this race as he's on the outside lane trying to go to the inside. Alex Bowman and Justin Haley, obviously, since the start of this race, has not broken away. They are still pretty dead even, but Alex Bowman currently right now in front of Justin Haley by a nose as we complete lap number 12. Feel kind of separated near the back, but the first 6 rows of cars with Alex Bowman, Haley, Larson, Elliott, Dillon, and Barry is still pretty much nose to tail right now. Obviously, Alex Bowman and Justin Haley taking turns leading laps here, as one lap Alex Bowman will lead and Justin Haley one lap will also lead that lap. So it's just pretty much been the show for Justin Haley and Alex Bowman as they continue to be the top 2 cars right in front of this pack. As you see, some of the cars are now finally getting back into their rows now, as it's now 8 rows of cars now that is currently nose to tail right now, as some of the field behind them slightly does separate. First of all, I would like to say something regarding about the viewers that's currently watching this right now. I want to thank you guys for taking your time to at least watch this series currently right now. You guys really seem to enjoy the Busch Light Clash 2 weeks ago, and I'm glad you guys really did. Only reason why I didn't do something similar like this, earlier on in my years is because, I have a very, very big stuttering problem, and I didn't think I would be capable about actually doing something like this, but here we are now, in 2025, doing an NR 2003 type of series right now, and it's just because there is a great group of people like you that, really enjoys my work, and I really wanted to give you guys something in advance. So that's why I decided to do this for you guys. So obviously, to those watching this premiere right now, I want to thank you, because usually, a couple years ago, I didn't think that I would be capable of doing this, but here we are now, and we're seeing a lot of great action right now, as that pack right now, Austin Hill is still leading that pack right now currently. And this pack is currently from 16th all the way to 37th. And this pack is a staggering 3 seconds behind the top 15 drivers. But it looks like to me that they're still pretty much working together and still racing pretty cleanly. Meanwhile, though, back out front, you see Harris and Burnett, who spun earlier on in this race. They are now approaching that lap traffic car. This could be a factor here in these leaders right now, as you see currently right now. He gets in front of Alex Bowman's lane. This is going to help the inside lane now, as Justin Haley clearly gets the lead. This is exactly what we saw in the Busch Light Clash with Cody Ware and Kyle Busch, how it really affected the leaders, and it clearly did right now. Now you see Kyle Larson trying to make it 3 wide to try to take second away from his teammate Alex Bowman, but Justin Haley. But since there was still a group of cars still wanting to get on both lanes, don't expect Justin Haley to have a comfortable lead here within the next couple of laps, as this pack is gaining on Justin Haley rapidly. An interesting turn of events here at the Daytona 500, as Justin Haley clearly leads the Daytona 500. But now here comes Kyle Larson onto the inside. He has a run right now. The question is, which lane is Justin Haley going to take? It doesn't look like he will take the inside lane, so he's going to be stuck right there on the outside lane. Now, it's the other Hendrick driver, Kyle Larson, now battling for the lead right now with Justin Haley. Alex Bowman falls to third on the second car right there on the outside lane. As right now, Kyle Larson is doing something that he can't do IRL at these drafting tracks, trying to lead some laps here at the Daytona 500, but the outside lane is giving a big push. It's like Jimmy and Noah Gratson got shoved out of line a little bit, but they were able to maintain back into the inside lane. Now the pack in the middle slightly separated right now, as you now see some 3-wide action, it looked like, between Jimmy Johnson, Byron, and Austin Dillon. Remember, we just talked about Jimmy Johnson. He is having a stellar run here today. Considering the fact that Jimmy's team is full of absolute poverty within the last 2 years, I don't think that 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson is washed out yet. Justin Haley gets the slight advantage over Kyle Larson as he was just a nose ahead of Kyle Larson, but now Kyle Larson still trying to get a run back at him, but Haley's still currently out front by a nose as he will lead this lap here. We are nearly halfway throughout this race and we still got a lot of action here out front with Justin Haley and Kyle Larson still battling now for the lead. Field still not separated as they are still stacked up together. Kyle Larson with an advantage now as he's getting a bit push from Josh Berry. But Justin Haley said that he's not done yet. I am still here. Remember, Justin Haley actually has won here at Daytona, but that was because of all the rain showers that take place, and you can pretty much thank Kurt Busch for that. So Justin Haley trying to at least get a legitimate win here at Daytona, unlike 2018 in the Xfinity Series. We had to lap 20. We are now officially halfway throughout this race, and more lap traffic is coming into play as I saw another car that they're slowly getting on. Looks like it was the 8 of Kyle Busch, and we were talking about how 2 weeks ago Kyle Busch was leading in the Busch Light Clash with around 9 laps to go, and there was a lap car currently in front of him that he could not get past, which that helped the top 6 get in front. And Carson Hocevar ultimately stole the win, stole the spotlight, shot to everybody pretty much by doing something he can't do in Cup IRL. And obviously Carson Hocevar was able to come out through and win the Busch Light Clash. And obviously we talked about how Kyle Busch, with the win slipping away from his fingers, now he is in jeopardy of going a lap down here at the Daytona 500. How the tables have turned here in just 2 weeks. 19 laps left to go. Whoa, what's happening over here? A little bit of smoke coming out of the 34. I believe Michael McDowell was having a problem. Smoke coming out of the rear of the 34. I believe the engine might have bottomed out. Oh, truly a major blow for the 34 who has won here before, who has won the Daytona 500 IRL and is not going to get that opportunity to do it in virtual reality. A major engine failure on the 34 of Michael McDowell. His day is more than likely done. He is now onto the apron to try to let all the other drivers pass. He did hold up a bunch of cars. It was a bunch of Toyotas that was helping out with one another, which, oddly enough, that was actually very realistic. But Michael McDowell, blown engine here on lap 22 of the Daytona 500. Looks like his day will be done. And I'm now being told it is a camshaft issue for the 34 of Michael McDowell. That is big, especially in the first race of the season. So now coming after here, he will finish dead last here, and he will be dead last in the points right now. But look right here, got a little bit of an action right now. We got a pass for the lead. Josh Berry all of a sudden now leading this race with Ty Gibbs in second place. And all of a sudden, the outside lane is definitely not there anymore, as pretty much every single car in the outside lane is pretty much gone. The outside pretty much faded away now. And Kyle Larson definitely fell back because he was in front here trying to take the lead away. Now he's currently all the way back in the 6th place position. So Josh Berry now leads the Daytona 500 right here as Ty Gibbs now making his name into the mix now. But look at Jimmy Johnson, now currently in the top 5 right now. Remember, he finished 3rd here in the Daytona 500 IRL, trying to do the same thing here. A stellar run continues for Jimmy Johnson. But look at Noah Gragson right there getting a push from Tyler Reddick right now. Unbelievably, a lot of shocking names, a lot of underdogs here in the top 5 here at the Daytona 500. As the action eases up a little bit, now they are slightly getting single file right now, but Jimmy Johnson currently trying to at least start another lane on the outside, and it looks like they all go into the outside now. Every single driver right now is currently scoring around, trying to at least get some runs right now, but here comes Justin Haley trying to get back up to the lead right now. Ooh, and not a lot of help with Josh Berry right now, as Jimmy Johnson is at least 2 car lanes back with Josh Berry, so this will definitely help Justin Haley to get in front of Josh Berry just a little bit, and he does. Justin Haley takes the lead back here at Daytona. But now, since it's lap 25 heading into lap 26, the big question is, will some of these guys actually pit within the next couple of laps? We talked about this earlier, since this race is a lot longer than the Busch Light Clash, will we see some pit stops here today? If they would have pit, I believe they would at least pit once, since this is not a super long race. This is only 40 laps here at Daytona. But the question is, will you at least see some pit stops within the next couple of laps? We sometimes seen some of these before already. Oh, man! Who was that just went off the track? That was Austin Dillon. I don't know what happened there, but it looks like Austin Dillon got shoved way out of line, way below the yellow line. So let's take a look here. Oh, and Bowman was the meat of the sandwich with Jimmy Johnson and Austin Dillon, but wow, a major close call right there. That would have been a major wreck right there. But thankfully, though, Austin Dillon was able to get back in front of the traffic safe and sound, and we continue to stay green, coming with 14 laps to go. Justin Haley now has a 2-car length lead over Ty Gibbs. Josh Berry is falling back a little bit. He is being challenged right now by his teammate Noah Gratson right now for 4th right now. Alex Bowman making a move onto the outside right now. Doesn't have a lot of help right now, but he's going to at least help Noah Gratson on the outside to at least try to get them a much bigger run to try to get closer to Justin Haley here. Oh, never mind. Of course, Alex Bowman's going to try to make it 3 wide. He really wants to get back in front and wants to challenge Justin Haley a lot more, but you can obviously see the inside lane is slightly faded away, as well as the outside lane. It kind of brought it away just a little bit, but obviously because of that lap traffic car of Harrison Burton, which pretty much changed the game plan here for a lot of these drivers here, as we now have less than 15 laps left for the Daytona 500. The laps are closing in fast, and now look at Alex Bowman now trying to make it 3 wide. This is for 2nd place right now. 3 wide for 2nd, further on back. This is not what you want to see if you're the leader here at Daytona. Ooh, and Ty Gibbs is also a little bit in danger here as the field is slightly spreading out right now. There's like 3 different lanes trying to open right now, but it seems to me that they continue to stay straight and they stay clean right here. Alex Bowman now goes up to 3rd right behind Josh Berry. The outside lane has pretty much faded away now as the top 3 guys are now in one different lane on the inside. Justin Haley continues to lead, Josh Berry in 2nd. Alex Bowman right now currently in 3rd. Josh Berry on the back bumper of the 7 of Justin Haley. What is he going to do? He's going to move into the inside lane, trying to at least get a run right now. Now they are side by side right now for the lead. Josh Berry trying to take the lead in the Daytona 500. Alex Bowman now is giving him a push now. What will Alex Bowman do? He's going to move into the inside lane as well. They're about to go 3 wide here at Daytona. Quickly approaching 11 to go. We are 3 wide right now for the lead here at the Daytona 500. Jimmy Johnson right there in 4th. What about this? Jimmy Johnson has an opportunity to at least get in front right here. This is unbelievable racing with so many underdogs you don't expect here at the front very often IRL. Amazing racing as they continue to go side by side. Justin Haley falls back just a little bit. Looks like a little bit of contact made between the 48 and the 4, but they continue to stay straight. Now Alex Bowman slightly ahead of Josh Berry by a nose. Ooh, look out, Austin Dillon a little bit too close for comfort right there as he is the meat of the sandwich right now. Almost made contact with the 10 of Noah Gratson, but it looks like they maintain it clean. Now all of a sudden, the pack is back together right now as they are currently 3 wide in the 3rd row right now. Now both lanes are now opened up right now as Alex Bowman leads the inside lane. Josh Berry leads the outside. 10 laps to go in a Daytona 500, and it is now a drag race. It's going to be between Alex Bowman and Josh Berry currently right now in the front, but these guys right behind them are very, very hungry right now to at least win the Daytona 500. This race is far from over. Oh boy, just like what we saw IRL, very exciting racing here with the closing laps here at the Daytona 500. We got a lot of underdogs right here. Jimmy Johnson, how about this? 4th place still currently. The stellar run continues for Jimmy Johnson. Still currently 4th in the 2nd row on the inside. Field slightly calmed down as they were 3 wide for just a little bit there, but it looks like now they are back to double file. Look at Jimmy Johnson now trying to take a peek into the inside. He was unable to find a room to at least get a run, but Jimmy Johnson, mad hungry right now, as he wants to try to at least upset the field and win the Daytona 500 as a chartered car. It's like Noah Gratson got shoved out of line a little bit, so Noah Gratson is definitely in trouble now. But look at Alex Bowman slightly ahead of Josh Berry. Now he gets a more bigger run from Justin Haley now. And I believe these guys are going to be staying out. We talked about pit stops, but I believe we are going to be closing this out until the very end as the field slightly separates. As you see, the outside lane pretty much faded away. This is going to help the inside lane definitely for sure. You see Chase Elliott trying to take a peek, but it doesn't look like that he has much help, so he's going to have to go back in lane so that way he doesn't lose all that momentum. 8 laps to go now, and now a caution flag does indeed come out. Oh, look out, Danny Hamlin goes for a spin in turn 3.
Talk to me when you can.
So Danny Hamlin brings out the caution with 7 laps left to go here at the Daytona 500. And I think I'm being told that there was a lot more cars that were involved to bring out this caution, so we're going to take a look here. Right here, Danny Hamlin is currently the meat of the sandwich between Ryan Preece and Ryan Blaney. And looks like he just gets shoved into the wall, collects Blaney with him. Pretty much summarizes Ryan Blaney's season so far, IRL this year. And Jonathan Nemechek looks like he got a piece of it too, as well as Todd Gilliland. Looks like 4 cars were involved in this accident right here. Doesn't look like there was a lot of significant damage. We're going to take a look, another angle of this. Yeah, Ryan Blaney really couldn't do anything right there to at least try to get out of harm's way. And everybody seems to have driven away, so might not have significant damage, but if this was IRL, definitely a tow lane would have broke. Alrighty, let's take a look right here in the battle cam. Yeah, obviously, Danny Hamlin was just the meat of the sandwich. He was stuck 3 wide there, and he really got shoved out of line into the wall. Yeah, collected Ryan Blaney and cover voters with him. Really, nothing that they really could have done. We're going to take a ride on board with Danny Hamlin right here. Yeah, Danny was stuck 3 wide, got a little help right there from Ryan Preece. But there was a separate incident that took place later on in turns number 3 where we saw Danny spin around. Not sure exactly what caused that to happen, so we're going to continue to ride along and see what caused Danny Hamlin to be turned around here. Oh, I think it was just the traffic trying to avoid Danny Hamlin because he was very slow on the track, and oh my! That was Bubba Wallace that got into the back of Danny Hamlin, which Bubba Wallace to Danny Hamlin is his boss from 2311, so definitely not going to be a good meeting for sure. And this is what we saw initially. We didn't see the first half of the accident. This is what we saw initially with Danny Hamlin spinning out in turn 3. Yeah, not only that this is not going to be a friendly team meeting, that's also going to be a 30-minute segment on the podcast. As we ride along with Bubba here, yeah, he sees Danny Hamlin slowing up, but he did have a lot of cars that was surrounding him, so he was really stuck in the middle there. He really couldn't do anything there. And it looks like Christopher Bell also got under the wall, but it looks like he keeps it rolling. Welcome back here to Daytona, in which I gotta admit something. I did a little oopsie while I was trying to do this race. I accidentally accelerated a little bit too much, so I missed the initial restart, so I will give a pass right there on the FODS allegations. But look right here! Look who's trying to take the lead from Josh Berry. It is none other than the 84 of Jimmy Johnson. How about that? Here in the closing laps here, Jimmy Johnson is trying to win the Daytona 500 as we are closing in with at least less than 5 laps to go here at the Daytona 500. And look at the top 5 pulling away from the remainder of the field. So it's really going to be the top 5's races to lose right here. And oh, look right here. We do have a couple of takers here with less than 5 to go. Well, and looks like we got trouble here on the front straightaway. AJ Allmendinger, the 16 goes around, collects the 36 of Riley Herbst. Oh, and the tow car, what happens behind? Heavy-duty contact. Riley Herbst in the 36 goes for a tumble. There was at least another car upside down on the front stretch. A major accident here on the front straightaway with less than 5 laps to go here at Daytona. Oh my, a lot of damage to the 10 of Noah Gragson, as a lot of guys have been caught up in this one. There's the car upside down. Looks like that's Ryan Preece at his national habitat. But oh my goodness, a scary accident here on the front straightaway. And we're going to begrudgingly look and see what happened here. You see the 36 of Riley Herbst. And I don't know what he's doing, but he is just doing Riley Herbst things. Try to get in front of the 16 of AJ Allmendinger. Try to pass him onto the inside. just gets caught up, gets collected in an incident right there. Everybody trying to negotiate through. A lot of close calls right there, especially Byron and Hocevar. But here comes Chase Briscoe. Oh my goodness. Clearly had nowhere to go to try to avoid the 36 of Riley Herbst. As that thing goes for a tumble at least several times. Man, a major accident here on the front straightaway. Gotta hope that everybody's okay. Oh, Jonathan Nemechek also got a piece of that too. But man, violent accident here on the front straightaway with less than 5 laps to go. Here's the real speed angle of the accident. Looks like, of course, Riley Herbst was just trying to get to the inside of AJ Allmendinger. Obviously miscalculated it and just leads to an absolute horrific accident with 2 cars flipping. And that indeed, it is Ryan Preece in the 41 that did go upside down. So Ryan Preece is his national habitat upside down here in Daytona. But this hit right here was just hellacious! As he gets drilled by Chase Briscoe, launches the car into the air, pirouetting on its nose, and tumbling at least 6 times before finally coming to rest and getting hit again by Jonathan Nemechek. Absolutely vicious impact. And now we're going to ride along with AJ Allmendinger. Just out of nowhere, nothing that AJ Allmendinger did wrong. He just did not have any idea that Riley Herbst was coming in fast, and you could just hear the carnage around AJ Allmendinger. And you see Ryan Preece steering Ryan Preece stains at Daytona. At least 3 hard hits for AJ Allmendinger. And now let's focus on Ryan Preece here as he goes upside down here once again here in Daytona. He sees the wreck, he jets up right in front of it. Just clearly did not have any time to react to avoid AJ Allmendinger. Not only that, but Ryan Preece also got drilled by his teammate Noah Gragson, who was trying to avoid. Oh, and a little up top by Martin Truex Jr. Pretty typical here at Daytona. But a vicious hit for Ryan Preece as he goes sliding on his roof here on the front stretch. And speaking of Ryan Preece, hang on tight, guys. You're riding along with him. Just a huge hit on Ryan Preece, which knocks the camera out entirely after that impact. And this is real speed from pit lane, as you just hear the carnage of the wreck taking place right in front of you. And now we're going to ride along with Chase Briscoe as he sees the accident right in front of him. Tries to see if he can find an opening, and there it comes, Riley Herbst. Really nothing that Chase Briscoe really could have done. He just did not see Riley Herbst in time. And just a absolutely hellacious hit into the rear of Riley Herbst. And I do want to give the update. We do have official confirmation that Riley Herbst is awake and alert, and he is talking with the AMR safety penguins. So that definitely is a great sign, knowing that Riley Herbst is awake and alert. But obviously, you just hope that Riley Herbst isn't too injured inside that car. And speaking of Riley Herbst, we're going to take a ride along with them. Watch and listen. Not only that you can hear the camera being lobotomized, but you can also just hear the impact through the onboard as Chase Briscoe drills Riley Herbst from behind. But obviously, we want to let you know that Riley Herbst is awake and alert, and we'll give you further updates when they become available. What was Ricky doing? Welcome back to Daytona. As you can now see, the leaders currently now pitting right here as we get close to the end of this race here. Probably going to go to overtime here in this race here, the Daytona 500. And I also want to give out the list of cars that were involved in that massive accident on the front straightaway here. Obviously on the list, Ryan Preece and Riley Herbst are major concerns right now currently. Also AJ Allmendinger, Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe, Jonathan Nemechek, Tyler Reddick got a piece of this action as well. Not only that, but on this list, William Byron, Carson Hocevar, and Martin Truex Jr. They got a little bit of contact as they were trying to avoid the action. But of course, as we know, Ryan Preece, Riley Herbst, AJ Allmendinger, and Noah Gragson are all confirmed out of this race here with less than 5 laps to go. Here's the accident again in case you were just tuning in. A major accident here at Daytona International Speedway on the front straightaway, collecting AJ Allmendinger, Riley Herbst, Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe, And obviously, as I said before, those 4 drivers are now out of the Daytona 500. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back for the finish of the Daytona 500. Welcome back to the Daytona 500. As you can see right now, Alex Bowman is currently the race leader, but we just got word from race officials that due to the severity of the accident that took place on the front straightaway, they have decided to call this race official, so they will be going to the yellow and checkered flag. And so that means, with Alex Bowman leading this race, Alex Bowman is going to be the winner of the Daytona 500 here tonight for the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series. Alex Bowman, like what he can't do in 2024, has won the Daytona 500 here today. A bit of a subdued victory here at Daytona International Speedway, but I feel like that was the best decision because of the severity of the accident. So the race has been declared official, and so Alex Bowman here tonight is your winner of the Daytona 500. Definitely not the way that you want to end off the first race of the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series season. But honestly, I feel like that was the best call because it was definitely a very vicious accident, and obviously they want to know for sure if everybody was okay. So I feel like it was the right choice to end the race early. So, with that being said, congratulations to Alex Bowman on winning the Daytona 500 for the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series. Justin Haley, who led the most laps here today, is going to come home in the second place position. And then Ty Gibbs third, William Byron fourth, and then Carson Hocevar, the Busch Light Clash winner, rounds up the top 5. Well, let's take a look at the rest of the results. As we just mentioned, the top 5. How about Tyler Reddick, who was involved in that accident, stayed out and ended up finishing 6th here today. How about Shane Van Gisbergen coming home with the top 10 as well? You got Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Ricky Stenhouse Jr. rounding up the top 10. Chris Buescher finishing home in the 11th place position. How about this? The 51 of Cody Ware finishing in the 12th place position. Cody really didn't do anything today except just avoid all the action, surprisingly. And then we got Christopher Bell, Anthony Alfredo at part-timer coming home in the 14th position. Daniel Hemrick, Danny Hamlin, who had that spin in turn 3, comes back for a 16th place position. But the major story, obviously, Jimmy Johnson, who was leading this race before the last caution, decided to pit before realizing that the race was going to be called official. So an absolute heartbreak for Jimmy Johnson, who was leading, pitted, and then boom, the race gets called official. So a major heartbreak for Jimmy Johnson from 1st all the way down to 18th. And then there's Joey Logano and Josh Berry rounding up the top 20. Josh Berry had a great day today, led some laps. But Kyle Larson in number 5, who was also in front right here earlier on, falls back to the 21st position. Austin Dillon as well in the 22nd position. Daniel Suarez, Sam Mayer, we haven't even talked about today, finished 23rd and 24th. Austin Hill in 25th. And there's Eric Jones, Austin Cindric, Ross Chastain. And the rest of these drivers were at least involved in an accident. So, for example, Bubba Wallace was involved in that lap 32 accident, as well as Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney finishes the first car a lap down in the 30th place position. Pretty solid start for Ryan Blaney. Kyle Busch, Harrison Burton, obviously not having great days today. Kyle Busch was just back to the pack all day long. Harrison Burton caught up in the incident on lap 5. And obviously the rest of the field, Noah Gragson, Herbst, Priest, Briscoe, Allmendinger, and Nemechek that were involved in that horrific accident on lap number 37. Todd Gilliland apparently retired from the race because of a header problem. And of course, Michael McDowell with a camshaft issue on the 22nd lap. He was the first driver to be out of this event here tonight. Now let's take a look at your point standings after Daytona. It looks pretty identical than the race results, but instead Alex Bowman and Justin Haley both get extra points here on the top on the board right now, as both Alex Bowman and Justin Haley led laps, but Alex Bowman also got another point for getting the pole position, and Justin Haley for leading the most laps at 20, which does bring a little bit of a gap between first and third. Obviously, extra points as well goes to Kyle Larson, Josh Berry, and even Jimmy Johnson, as those three have also led laps here today. So obviously, our Daytona 500 winner, Alex Bowman, leads the points here on the first race, as we are about to get ready to move on to Charlotte Motor Speedway. And before we sign off here today, folks, I do want to give you guys that update regarding about both Ryan Preece and Riley Herbst, who was involved in that horrific accident on lap number 37, starting with Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece did in fact climb out of the car under his own power. He walked away without a scratch, and it doesn't look like he is too significantly injured. So obviously great news we're talking about Ryan Preece, knowing that he climbed out of this car under his own power and seems to be okay. And now, finally, on the condition of Riley Herbst. As we mentioned, Riley Herbst did talk to the AMR Safety Penguins after that accident. He was obviously taken to be checked at the Infield Care Center. However, though, during his visit at the Infield Care Center, he had reported to the doctors that he has been complaining about back pain. So, as a precautionary measure, they're going to be taking Riley Herbst over to the Halifax Medical Center for further evaluation to get X-ray scans on his back, and that's all the information that we can provide to you at this time. But that was indeed a violent accident on lap number 37, with Riley Herbst getting absolutely tattooed by Chase Briscoe from the rear that sent that car tumbling down the front straightaway. And obviously we hope for the best for Riley Herbst and hope he can make a speedy recovery. And just like that, we have crossed the line here at Daytona International Speedway, and the Daytona 500 is officially at the rearview mirror. We want to thank all you viewers out there for watching this race. Next race we'll be going to will be another crown jewel race. This time it will be at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 600 for race number 2 of the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series. We hope to see you guys then. And once again, thank you all so much for tuning in to the Daytona 500 for the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series. Until then, God bless you, and whatever, if it's day or night, I hope you guys have a safe rest of your day, and we'll see you guys at Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 2 for the NASCAR FASTENAL Cup Series. Take care, y'all.